Hello, it's Joyful Hermit. I've tried about 3 times today to discuss more about discernment of spirits, and each time it just didn't feel right to me. So I felt that was a form of discerning. Plus, as I would listen to it later, I realized I didn't explain things right. I spoke about judging and how judging is very, very good to have the ability to judge justly. I guess that's the key to judging, is if it is a just judgment, a correct discernment. And that can, of course, be a skill to be gained, like judges in courts. Some judges are good, some are excellent, some not so good. Um, but we should pray to develop the gift for just judgment. And yesterday's Office of Readings, the scripture reading of Leviticus, talked about that, how we are to judge justly. It's very necessary. Otherwise, for example, how do we know what is right and wrong? How do we know when someone's doing something that's right, something that's wrong, or how when we're doing something right or wrong? And that comes right back to discernment of spirits in a way. We have to learn to be able to judge by our feelings, by our thoughts, and by those actions. I've been in some correspondence the last 2 days with a young woman who had very, very angry thoughts. And they were based on actual judgment, just judgment of situations that weren't right. And she felt very bad for other people involved and was very frustrated, though, in what to do or how to do, and realizing she couldn't do a lot. But of course, we can always pray. But however, what started to happen is that her anger built, her frustration grew, then she started feeling guilty that she was even having these feelings. So it was all bad spirit material. The bad spirits want us to start thinking, oh, we shouldn't judge, even when, yes, at times we should judge justly when we need to. We're not judging frivolously. It's sometimes when we don't make wise judgments that we hang into situations that we should not. I'm a prime example of that over and over in my life, where I would think, oh, I shouldn't quote unquote judge. Well, yes, I needed to. I needed to make wise judgments and decisions accordingly that required courage and strength. So this young woman, I had emailed her, don't get down on yourself. The bad spirits are working on you to not only let go of your wise judgment of a situation, even if you can't do a lot about it other than pray, and praying is a lot, or to encourage those who are affected by the situation and to educate them about it. She can do that. But as far as changing the people who are doing the things that are not right, not nice, she maybe can't do other than pray. And though know that the bad spirits were stirring her emotions to the point of hindering her in her daily activities, and then causing her to feel guilty that she shouldn't have those feelings about the people who were doing wrong. I think often we as Catholics tend to do that. We think, we don't dare say anything about anything that isn't right within a parish or something. But that's the very reason why bad things sometimes have continued to happen. And perhaps that's why I made private the last video I posted, was because I gave yet another example of someone in authority who had said things to me that were most unkind and actually inaccurate. However, I mean, I asked other people. This person said that I was a piranha and that I didn't smile. I never smiled and made a horrible, ugly face back at me and said, "This is what you look like." It was a priest who did this. I was in tears, and, especially with the piranha bit saying if people see me coming, they run the other way to get away from me. And, well, it was bad spirits using this man to discourage me, to upset me, and it did. I was on the verge of a pain siege as it was, and that was enough to topple me. I was in bed for the next 3 days. It was back during the soup kitchen time. I had to call upon the other volunteers to totally handle it because I was bedridden. Had to get a Demerol injection from the visiting nurse because the pain was so horrible. And of course, my son and didn't have his mother for 3 days, basically. My daughters were in college, but I did ask somebody who called when I was weeping, and I said, you know what, I'd been told, and I said, surely it's the truth. I don't smile. I don't. She says, oh, you smile plenty. She says, in fact, it's amazing how you smile through so much pain. But I mentioned the piranha thing, and um, she thought it was a terrible thing to say. Um, the reason I think was the bad spirits were working on this man was that I had started several programs that were good things. And of course, the bad spirits don't want those. I'd started a program of getting us older people who would sit in the back of Mass on the school day Masses to match up with school children and be their silent partners of prayer. So the little children in the fall would write on a 3x5 card. I'd go to each of the classrooms and talk to them about this, and they would write something that they wanted their secret partner to pray for them about daily for the rest of the year. And we had incredible prayer results. And some of the prayer intentions of these children were heart-wrenching and very revealing. So anyway, that was one thing that he said, people, well, yes, I would ask people, would you be interested in being a prayer partner with a child? And many, many people did. And in later years, people would say how much they loved being asked because they were never asked to do anything. Often in parishes or in any organization, it's the who-whos who get asked or who are in the leadership positions. Not the poor Anawim, not the ones that are deemed unacceptable or unimportant or whatever. So I always particularly would ask those people because I consider myself one of them. I know what it's like. So anyway, I though thought, well, I need to examine this. This man said these things to me. I didn't understand the good spirits, bad spirits so much at the time. But this is one technique to use with bad spirits, I have learned, is just to turn the tables on the bad spirits. And so I did. I researched piranhas, and I found out that they are a beautiful rainbow-colored fish, that they have a perpetual smile, and they do have large teeth. I thought, oh, not so unlike my large teeth. And they have a huge smile, and they are actually very good fish and intelligent fish. And they don't just go out and attack human beings. Very rarely does that happen. But if they are off alone and they are hungry and have nothing else to feed on, no other schools of fish in the cycles of nature, and if they are provoked by a human, then they will attack and attack viciously because they do have large teeth and they are hungry when they get to that point. So, and I thought about St. Peter and St. Paul, and essentially they were piranhas. The piranha fish, once it does bite, it doesn't let go. It's very persistent in what it's going to eat, even if it's another fish, and most of the time it is other fish. And so it's a good trait in a way to be a piranha, and And I had to laugh about how they had this big smile all the time. These fish did. If you see a picture of a piranha, it's just amazing, this big smile. And, but I did learn from that. And I thought, well, think about Jesus. He looks out from the tabernacle, and what does he see? A bunch of sorrowful, very serious faces. And I thought, maybe I haven't smiled enough. So I started smiling a lot. When I'd go into Mass, I would smile at the tabernacle. I would smile at other people. I just read today that Venerable Lieberman was like that. That even his seminary students would look up from reading their divine office when he would walk in to see his smile. And he felt that that human touch at that moment was more important than the serious, gotta keep my head down into the reading. No, we can take time to smile back at someone. We are human and we are to love. So anyway, I also, when I would go up to communion, I would smile because I thought I am receiving his real presence and I should be happy about receiving and smile as I receive. So I did. And that just sort of turned the tables on the bad spirits also. And so oftentimes in trying to understand the bad spirits and to realize that every step we take, every thought, every action is a step toward heaven or a step toward hell. Try to think of something that is absolutely purely neutral. It's very difficult. I've never been able to come up with anything. So it's either just over the line one way or the other toward goodness. And it's just good for us to try to discern and to learn in our lives how to detect what is good and what is not good, even in fine degrees. And a lot of that depends upon our motive, but the bad spirits can twist us all up, like it did this young woman. The bad spirits have a grip on someone else I know who repeatedly calls her mother by a first name in a sarcastic tone. And this person is unhappy in other areas of her life. If her mother would die today, it wouldn't change anything. This person still wouldn't be all that happy. The bad spirits have a grip hold. And just by some small thing of, instead of saying the first name, referring to me, when talking to me or others, to her mother as calling her mother or mom, and try to get the sarcasm out of the voice or the anger out. That's a step working against the bad spirits. Or to smile. I was remembering this scene with this priest, this first priest that I encountered in my life of many priests, and this morning, and I thought, oh, don't get down about it. There were other memories that were unpleasant. I thought, get your ice pack out, get back in bed, ice your throbbing head from the neck injury, and smile. Because I did research smiling also. And when we smile, even if we're forcing a smile through tears, or in illness when we're forcing a smile, it releases endorphins in the brain to give our bodies a sense of well-being. But I think more than that, when we overcome ourselves, even in a small way, we are defeating the bad spirits and we are proclaiming goodness. More and more, also, as we learn about bad spirits and good spirits, we need to move away from thinking always, oh, is this a bad spirit or not, to recognizing the good spirits and to more and more invite the good spirits to dominate our spirits and our souls and our minds and our daily lives. God bless His real presence in you, and may the good spirits guide you, and may you recognize and judge the bad spirits, but also not to fear expressing ourselves about things that have occurred from which we have learned. and benefited. It might benefit others